He's a god! What? He's so good at this! Hey, wow, it's time for another YouTube intro. I'm PokemonChallenges. I'm probably the best Nuzlocker in the world. Today, we're gonna be revisiting a good friend of ours. The one, the only MandJTV. MandJTV did a Wonderlocke of Pokemon Moon. A Pokemon Moon Wonderlocke. So we're going to be reacting to that. I'm probably the best Nuzlocker in the world with over 3,000, 4,000 hours of Nuzlocke experience. I'll be using his run as an educational resource to help you guys get better at your Nuzlocks. So we'll be judging his choices and everything. I was going to do a whole bit where I saw in the reactions from his fan base to my video, mostly on my YouTube comments and I know that it got posted to a subreddit, and those comments, people were very scared of the fact that I was swearing, which was interesting to me. So I was gonna do a whole thing in this intro where I swore for like 30 seconds straight, because that would have been funny as to me. However, Destiny has a different plan for me, as one of my most recent videos on YouTube did in fact get demonetized for profanity. So we're cutting back on that one a little bit instead. And instead we're gonna do not that. Let's get into it. Woo! MandJTV, what Moon Wonderlocke, let's do it. I'll keep you guys on screen for now. Why not? It's not like we're reacting to another streamer where there's like another chat on screen, right? Okay.
Since you all seem to really like that Platinum Nuzlocke video, I'm here to do another video about another playthrough that I did.
Since you all liked my reaction to MandJTV's video, I'm here to do another reaction to another one of his videos. And such the content cycle spins round and round, the carousel throwing content from one end to the other, where MandJ recycles his old content and I recycle him recycling his own content, and then eventually if one of my videos does well enough, he's gonna do a reaction to my reaction, and such the cycle continues and never stops. I love the YouTube algorithm.
My Pokemon Moon Wonderlocke. And yes, it was another Nuzlocke. I did another one despite not liking the first one, and actually did several more after that.
So quick recap, this is not like a dig at him or anything. MandJTV is very open about the fact that he that he freaking hates doing Nuzlocks, and that he only did them because he felt like they would help him monetarily. I'm not like accusing him of that being bad. I'm just saying that that's what he said about how he feels about them. All right, cool.
They got more views, okay? But what is a Wonderlocke? Well, first and foremost, it is a Pokemon Nuzlocke and has the 3 primary Nuzlocke rules.
Correct.
If a Pokemon faints, it is dead and cannot be used anymore.
You
can only catch the first Pokemon you encounter in any given location.
Yep.
And if you lose a single battle, you lose the Nuzlocke and your playthrough is over. The wonder part of the name comes from the main gimmick of this.
Really quick, I really like his lighting. I think his lighting setup is super cool. Also, yeah, pretty basic rules. As you know, on my channel, we usually also do set mode, no items, no over leveling, but that's more of the advanced shit, right?
This type of Nuzlocke. Every Pokemon you obtain must be Wonder Traded before you can ever use it in battle, if possible. For those unaware, Wonder Trading, now called Surprise Trading in Sword and Shield, is a random trade with a random person, and you have no control over what you get. It's an interesting concept because you could get a really buff Breedject or complete garbage. Doing this type of Nuzlocke also removes one of the most common Nuzlocke rules, that you have to nickname all of your Pokemon. Prior to Sword and Shield, there was no possible way to change the nickname for a traded Pokemon. So in this one, I literally cannot nickname my Pokemon. There's also another common Nuzlocke rule that I removed for this playthrough.
Ooh, okay, before we get into that, I guess people often ask me if I would ever do a Wonderlocke or whatever. I just never really understood, like, okay, here's a way in which I feel like it could be interesting. If you were doing it live on stream, right, and people were trying to wonder trade you Pokemon for you to use. I feel like that's cool. It's kind of similar to my egg lock that I did where I had my viewers send in eggs, right? I just always felt like a randomizer would be way cooler, although obviously because it gives you like a larger variety of Pokemon and stuff. But the problem with the randomizer is obviously, especially on 3DS games, it's not as accessible. So it is kind of a way to spice up kind of the run. But I think the variance of Pokemon that you get on Wonder Trade does just not make for very interesting runs, in my opinion. Although we'll see how this goes. I don't have too much experience with them. I just kind of think I feel kind of similar about how I feel about like randomizers, where I just don't really like that they're like not as repeatable. You can't like really learn from a lost attempt and try again with like more knowledge because the Pokemon you'll get are always like random. So there's not really a learning curve involved with that. That's kind of my problem with these kind of runs. That's for randomizers or for that. The curve of Pokemon that you get from like kind of bad Pokemon to better or whatever, and Pokemon that are put at like specific points in the game to balance the game is like completely thrown out the window. And it just kind of, you can either like completely breeze through the game or even sometimes get stuck at certain points for like no reason whatsoever. That's kind of how I feel generally about Wonderlocks. That's why I don't personally do them, but I also understand kind of the appeal. They're like a very accessible way of doing like a randomizer run, right?
There's also another common Nuzlocke rule that I removed for this playthrough, the dupes clause.
Okay.
If you happen to encounter a Pokemon that is in the same evolutionary line as one that you have already caught, then you're allowed to skip it and find something different.
There's actually a lot of different ways how people do dupes clause. Everything from like there is no dupes clause and you have to catch the Pokemon again, up until you do not get the dupe and you do not get another encounter on that route. And there's like a bunch of like little like rules like that you can do in between. Like he said, you were allowed to skip dupes. That's not how I play. The way I play is you have to skip dupes, but you get to re-roll on that route. That's my version of that. It allows for like more strategic gameplay where you can eliminate dupes on other routes to increase your chance of getting a better encounter on a different route. And the reason I think you should force yourself to skip dupes is because otherwise every run that has Magikarp fishing, I would just run around with a team of 3 Gyarados, right? Because you can get Magikarp everywhere. So, yeah.
I decided not to have that for this just to make it more interesting. So if I got 5 Wingulls, I was stuck with 5 Wingulls.
For this, it makes more sense, right? Because you can't really choose what you get. So I think that's a perfectly fine way to play it. I have no problem with that whatsoever. In fact, I think it's actually a way to make it a little bit more interesting. I like it.
If you want to watch the original playthrough in its entirety, it is still up here on the channel, and you can find the link to the playlist up in the cards and in the description below. I did this playthrough not long after Sun and Moon came out in late 2016. Once I finished my regular playthrough of Sun, since I was not making my first playthrough of a new Pokemon game, a Nuzlocke.
I always do that. I think it's a really fun way to explore the new games, but I mean, I understand why you wouldn't if you don't enjoy doing it that way.
I don't hate myself. I named
I guess
myself
I do,
Spicy, so I could have moments like these.
That's right, it does. Spicy.
And then it took
Hilarious.
40...
All right, chat, you had your chance. You're blocking his webcam. You had your chance to give your shout-outs to Twitch chat, to YouTube. YouTube commenters, you had the chance to see how cool Twitch chat is. See ya.
I finally did get to Wonder Trade my starter and the 2 other encounters I got when playing normally, and got an Alolan Rattata, a Magnemite, and an Abra.
Those are some freaking ridiculous encounters. Rattata's really good, especially if you get like guts on it. I don't know if Alolan Rattata gets guts. I think so, right? Magnemite is a fantastic encounter. Early game steel types are crazy good. And then
Not a great first session.
I disagree. Yeah, and then Abra is, once you evolve it, it's crazy. Once you get that thing to 16, use your freaking XP share to get it to 16, get Confusion, and Kadabra is a crazy Pokemon. This is a really good set of early encounters. Extremely strong. Alolan Rattata might actually not get guts. But I think it's okay. Normal Dark is not a bad typing offensively, in my opinion.
In the next episode, I was able to get a Slowpoke, then progressed through the trainer school without a hitch, mainly using Magnemite. My next Wonder Trade was a Poplio with a timid nature, which I was very excited about.
Not bad. Water types are great. Starters are great because of their fast XP curve.
Next trade was a Machop named Macholo, which is its German name.
That is, in fact, its German name, although it would be pronounced Maholo. How is he supposed to know that? Machop, I think, is a pretty bad encounter early on. Machamp is kind of good late game if you do like trade evolutions or whatever, but it's not like with Kadabra where like you don't even have to evolve into the third stage for it to be amazing. Machoke is like okay.
I continued on to the first trial, which was over in one turn thanks to Macholo. Then my
Okay,
next
Machop,
Wonder
not
Training
bad there at
counters
all,
were
not bad there at
Pick-a-Peck,
all.
a Shellos and a Beast Ball, another Abra, and a Rowlet, which was the most exciting of the bunch.
Yeah, Rowlet's not bad. Another Abra is nice. Double Kadabra strats, why not? His team is looking stacked as heck, guys. It's stacked as heck.
Not long later, Poplio evolved, now making it definitely the strongest member of my team for the time being. Then was the battle with Hala, or as I like to say, Hala at yo girl. Brian took out his Mankey and Makuhita with little issue, but then there was a very close call with Crabrawler's Z-move. The Alola games can be tricky to Nuzlocke. You've got the Totem trials, which is 2 versus 1, one of the enemy Pokemon having boosted stats, and then you've got the Grand Trials and later Elite Four, where they have frickin' Z moves.
What he's saying is not wrong, right? The Gen 7 games are pretty hard to Nuzlocke. I think on my difficulty tier list video, Ultra Sun and Moon was the hardest game, and I think that's true. Sun and Moon are also pretty hard, I would say. Some of the trials are pretty damn difficult. I think the kahunas, though, are damn easy. Like, planning around one Z move with just, like, bringing a resist to it should not be that difficult, I feel like. You just, you know, you gotta play around, because that's, like, all the kahunas do. Everything else about them kind of sucks.
Incredibly powerful moves that could KO and kill a Pokemon that normally would not fall to any regularly powered move.
Yeah, like that's the thing, right? Like, but it's only going to be one specific move of one specific type from one specific Pokemon. So all you got to do is like bring one Pokemon that can take that, right? Especially because the kahunas all have like 3 Pokemon, so you should be okay against them. I think the trials, though, he is right. The trials are pretty damn hard in Gen 7 for Nuzlocking.
My next Wonder Trades were a Sandile named Samuel, and then another Sandile literally immediately afterward. The first one had a fun nickname, so that was nice, but it was level 30, which would obey me, but I didn't want to use it because I felt it would be unfair and would make the videos less interesting.
Damn, look at you. Freaking self-restriction more on the Nuzlocke. Good shit. Hell yeah. Love to see it. Thinking like a YouTuber. I like it.
The second had its Japanese name, which is romanized to Meguroko. It was level 1, had an adamant nature, and had the egg moves Thunder and Fire Fang. I was absolutely
sick.
Using the Japanese one.
That is
Once on
sick.
Akala Island,
Hell
my
yeah.
next Wonder Trade was another Magnemite.
Good.
And then a while later, a frickin' Alolan Marowak, which was super exciting and then super not.
It's level 53.
Oh yeah,
Gosh,
you're not
dang
using
it.
that for a
And
while.
then right before the
I can't take it seriously. Guys, I'm never gonna... I would rather have my editor censor me saying than ever in my life say gosh freaking darn it. But I don't know, maybe that's just me. I'm just built different, I guess. I don't know.
For the water trial, I got my third damn Abra. Abra, goddamn. But then right after that, I got an adamant Stuffle in a love ball named Valersi. Its German name, which I found wildly fun to say, and still do to this day.
German Pokemon names are fantastic. Relaxo, the Snorlax, great name. Love me some German Pokemon names.
Valersi. After swapping it in for Macholo due to its better nature and awesome coverage moves of Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, and Stomping Tantrum,
That's pretty damn
it was
good.
time for the water trial. Magnemite paralyzed the Wishiwashi right away.
Oh, he has like 2 Magnemites and a Datrix for this. He's got this. This is a hard trial for sure. This is not easy. The rain boost and everything, this is a terrifying trial that you have to plan for. Let's see if he loses anything.
Then got soaked, turning into a water type.
Okay.
After not much happening, including not a single turn of the totem being fully paralyzed, I brought in Dartrix, which KO'd the partner Wishiwashi, resulting in Alomomola being brought in. Giant mistake. Alomomola could both heal the totem Wishiwashi's HP and got rid of its paralysis.
So terrifying. You really need to leave that the Wishiwashi up there. 100%. I remember this. It's been so long since I've done these, but it's all coming back to me. God, this This run was terrifying, man.
Dartrix had been growled too much, I swapped it back out for Magnemite, who successfully took down the Alomomola. It was a self-sacrifice though, since Wishiwashi immediately killed it with a water gun, giving me my first death of the playthrough.
I mean, you got another Magnemite, it's fine. Wait, doesn't he have, oh no, wait, he has 3 Abras and 2 Magnemites, right? Yeah, he's gonna be okay. Honestly, a pretty smart sack if you have another one in the back. If you're gonna sack something in this fight, you might as well sack the one you can double down on, right?
When I brought Magnemite back in, I had remembered that it only took about 20 HP damage from Wishiwashi's water gun beforehand, so I thought it was safe from being KO'd. However, I forgot that when I switched it out and switched it back in, it lost its water typing that it got from Soak.
That seems like an important detail, yeah, true.
So it no longer resisted the hit.
That honestly, that sounds like a mistake that I could make. Maybe not consistently. I feel like most of the time I would remember, but that's something that I could potentially see happening to me, especially without chat screaming at me.
Mistake, and Magnemite paid the price. It was a valiant sacrifice though, taking down the Alomomola, and for that, we salute our fallen comrade. Dartrix came back in and finished off the battle, but it was a Pyrrhic victory. After the battle, to honor.
Also, it seems like he doesn't get super stressed out about deaths anymore like he did in his first Nuzlocke. So we're seeing a little bit of progression there. Not bad. He's still using items, right? That's something I always need to remember is like items are so broken in these runs, man. And most people don't. The reason most people don't realize how broken items are is because they don't use them correctly.
Honor my fallen Magnemite, I replaced it with the other one. This one was Spanish. It was a Magnemite. I then got a Snow Run.
I suck poop.
I traded it for a Trumbeak, which I added to the party right away to level up in preparation for the Lurantis trial.
Okay, dude, that Lurantis trial is so goddamn scary. That is like one of the scariest fights in the entire series. Both in Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon.
The fire trial was easy as Mega Roko the Sandile OHKO'd the Totem Salazzle with Sand Tomb.
Love to see it. With Sand Tomb? Holy shit, how?
I then got several more encounters thanks to Lapras surfing.
It is 4x effective, but isn't Sand Tomb like 20 base power? Is it 35? So it's 70, 140. I guess, yeah.
I then got several more encounters thanks to Lapras surfing, which I traded for a Gibble.
Insane.
A Cutie Fly.
Pretty good.
A Grubbin.
Not terrible.
And a Wingull. A
Also
little
not
while
terrible.
later, there were several evolutions. Sandile into Krokorok, Trumbeak into Toucanon, and Valersi into Beware. The Lurantis trial was no problem, thanks to my preparations with getting Beak Blast on.
Oh, Toucanon and destroys this, actually. Oh, I guess if you have the right encounters, this shit is easy, huh? Yeah, okay.
On Toucanon, meaning I hella over-leveled. You know me, I don't like tough battles.
Oh, 20. Yeah, okay. He's my man's
the
slightly
trial
overleveled.
Was no problems.
Honestly, though, he's owning it and no judgment whatsoever. Completely fine. I understand. If you can take the comments calling you dumb for overleveling, which you should be able because every single person that comments on YouTube videos is stupid. All of you. Yeah, every single one.
Not long before Olivia's battle, Magnemite evolved into just a Magneton. I then got to do several more traits that got me a Yungoos, a repeat Poplio, and my 4th frickin' Abra. I was starting to regret not implementing the dupes clause, but
yeah, I feel like I would too. This is getting a little repetitive, but it's fine.
At least I wasn't having many deaths. Combined playing through a mostly not too hard game, the fact that my Pokemon got boosted experience, and my excessive amounts of preparation due to a deeply seated inability to accept failure or loss of any kind. Next was the battle with Olivia. Krokorok took out Nosepass and Boldore, getting Moxie boosts from both, then tanked a Continental Crush before finishing off Lycanroc.
As you can see, as long as you have a resistance to the Z move, these fights are easy peasy.
Completing its sweep. May I just interject that I love the Crocodile line, but a big reason I do is because of all the positive experiences I've had with it by sweeping with Moxie. Moxie is just such an awesome ability.
One of the best abilities in the game for Nuzlocke, for sure. fantastic ability. Moxie Gyarados is crazy, crazy, crazy good.
It might be my favorite. My next trades were for a
Up there.
Wimpod
I still think Intimidate is better, but Moxie is crazy good.
and a Spearow. Then, not long after arriving on Ula Ula Island, my starters evolved. Dartrix
Beautiful.
into Decidueye and Brionne into Primarina. Kind of funny that the starter I picked and traded away was a Litten, yet I ended up with the other two on my team. The journey
Hilarious,
from
really.
Mali City
It's so ironic. What are the odds of that happening? Situational irony. All right. I'm being so mean. I'm sorry.
After evolving my Alakazam with some trading help, it was time for the
Oh, he did do in-game trades. He could be running the 4 times Alakazam team. That'd be sick. Holy
Vikavolt trial. My attempt to OHKO it with the Rock Z move barely failed, but since Valursi was faster than Vikavolt, it just had to finish it off the next turn, then
Nice.
Charge a Bug a few turns later.
I feel like this trial was always one of the easier ones. I never really had trouble with it at all.
Krokorok evolved into Crocodile.
Beautiful.
I then was able to do several trades, getting an Execute, a
Very good.
repeat Snorunt,
Not that good.
a Rock Ruff,
Pretty okay.
and a repeat
Why are you not using your Gibble, man? That shit's busted.
Gibble. Then it was time for the Mimikyu trial.
I feel like this one was decently difficult for me. This can be super dangerous, I feel like, if you don't prepare for it. He's probably just going to be over-leveled for all of these, right? So none of my analysis is going to apply.
After breaking its disguise, Magneton obliterated it with a corkscrew crash.
Beautiful.
Then I just had to bring in Valursi to finish off the
Wait, what was his
Haunter
level?
with
Where's the level? Show me the level. I need to see the level.
a trial with no issues.
Level 40. That's not... Yeah, okay, that's pretty damn over-leveled.
Z moves are
Very good.
they're so bad. They make so many of these totem trials comically easy.
I guess, like, that was the point of the totem battles, right? To teach you how to use the Z moves. Yeah, I agree. Did we ban Z moves from our Ultra Sun and Moon run? Does anyone remember? I actually really like Z moves. I think they're like a very balanced mechanic. I don't know. But specifically for the totem fights, obviously, where you're fighting one big bad guy, they're pretty damn strong. Yeah.
But then they also make Nuzlockes against the Elite Four members or Grand Trials brutal at times. Then they make competitive a mess. I don't miss them.
I don't know. I feel like they were more balanced than Dynamax for sure. Although that's not to say that they're not bad themselves, right? Because Dynamax is a huge mess. I don't know. I really liked Megas. I think they should just kept expanding on Megas instead of introducing a new mechanic every generation. But I thought Megas were cool as
Several more trades after that trial got me a repeat Skarmory with its French name of Amure.
I mean, Skarmory is pretty damn good. You should... I mean, although you do have Magneton. Honestly, this team that he's using is pretty damn good.
A third Magnemite, this one called Magnetilo,
That's
a
a German name.
Fletchling, a Fearow, a Litten, I finally had all three, a Comfey, and another Rowlet. The next event of note was the double battle outside Po-Town, where I was very dumb. Instead of ensuring Alakazam took out the Haunter first, I took out the Drowsy, expecting Primarina to take out the Haunter before it could move.
Oh, good thing he has like 3 other Alakazams in the back.
I forgot how fast Haunter was and how slow Primarina was, though. So after Alakazam took out the Drowsy, the Haunter killed an already damaged Alakazam with Shadow Ball.
Honestly, very good analysis of the situation. He knew he realized what he did wrong, and he's probably not going to make that mistake again. This is what I like about Nuzlocke, is you lose a Pokemon, and then you ask yourself why, and then you don't do that again the next time, getting better at the game in the process. That's what I love about it. Yeah, you obviously want to make sure to take out like the more important threats in a situation like that. Just also realizing how frail Alakazam is, right? Was he not healed going into this battle is what I want to know, because that Alakazam was not full HP.
I mean, it wasn't great that happened, but of all the party members, Alakazam is probably the one that I was least attached to, considering I had just gotten so many freaking Abras and I wasn't using it much in battle, to the point where I was actually considering replacing it.
I don't know about that. Alakazam is an S tier Pokemon for sure.
Still stung to lose it though, mostly because I felt dumb. I replaced Alakazam not
Fair.
with another Alakazam, but with the jolly Italian fledgling. It is a happy fledgling, since I
Hilarious.
wanted its type coverage more. I then battled my way through Team Skull's stronghold while Fletchling, now
Fucking Americans, man. You guys are so cringe.
then I got another Litten from trading. Then during an off-camera grinding session, I evolved the Fletchinder into Talonflame. The grand trial against Nanu. While Primarina took out Sableye easily, Krokorok posed more problems due to causing confusion and Earthquake doing a lot more damage.
Ooh.
Beware came in and handled it though, then Primarina came back in to defeat Alolan Persian, which oddly
Nice,
never used
nice.
its Z-move. 3 of the 4 grand trials done.
The grand trials are just so easy in Sun and Moon, man. Seriously. I'm sorry.
And then nothing happened for a long time. Seriously, it was an episode and a half of just battling through Aether Paradise. No deaths, no trades, no encounters, nothing.
The curse of being overleveled. You're safe and you're not stressing about battles, but you're also not making content. Oh boy.
Even the final battle with Guzma was pretty freaking easy. If I was making this series today, I would have trimmed out most of it. In fact, I would have trimmed out just a lot of this series, to be perfectly honest. Finally, I reached the first battle with Lucamine, and I O-code all 5 of her
Wait, how overleveled is he?
honest. Finally, I reached the first battle with Lucamine, and I O-code all 5 of her Pokemon. Due to the nature
Didn't show any of the levels.
of my entire team being traded Pokemon and therefore getting the boosted experience and ending up overleveled, even during the periods when I turned off the experience share,
Yeah.
a lot of the battles ended up not being very exciting.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the reasons Wonderlocks also suck, huh? I guess you don't have to do any grinding to be overleveled. Yeah, it was just a lot of dropped frames. Okay, we're Gucci.
Which was fine for me, but I was getting some viewers that were annoyed by it. So around this point, I started to make it so I was overleveled less, which made things less fun for me. Finally, on Pony Island, I got
It is a decision, right? Which I have solved by just saying, okay, being overleveled is boring, but I also want to, you know, have fun. Time to get good at the game.
got to my first trades in a while, getting me a Spinarak, a Magikarp, a third Gibble, and an Oricorio named Sweet D. Nothing
Could he have a Garchomp at this point? I'm not sure what the caps are in terms of obedience, but he should definitely have a Gyarados on this team. Although Primarina is pretty good. Honestly, maybe this team doesn't actually need a Gyarados.
a Magikarp, a third Gibble, and an Oricorio named Sweet D. Nothing interesting,
Except for the Always Sunny in Philadelphia reference.
but at least Sweet D is a fun name. Then it was time for the grand trial against Hapu.
Do you think he got the reference, though? He probably did, right? He just figured that his audience probably doesn't watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
But due to what I had just mentioned about viewers wanting me to not be so overleveled, I had left the experience share off for a while.
Okay,
resulting in my
okay.
team
Love to
being
see it. But also, giving into what viewers want, cringe, okay? If you want to do the Nuzlocke when you're overleveled, you should, okay? The viewers. I'm sorry, Tyrone. You have to edit out a lot of today.
close to her levels rather than above. She led with Alolan Dugtrio, which made me switch out Decidueye for Valersi,
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Decadui, actually.
who handled it after tanking an Earthquake. Then she brought in Mudsdale and I brought in Primarina. Sparkling Aria barely didn't KO though, allowing Mudsdale to fire back with Tectonic Rage.
Mudsdale. They're like about equal level. I think you can live that? I guess he dies though from the context of the video. I feel like you should live that. Primarina's pretty bulky, right?
Which one-shot
Ooh, never mind.
Primarina
Okay.
and killed it. This one
Yikes.
hurt the most of the deaths so far.
Don't you have another Poplio in the back?
Primarina had been on the team since basically the entire time. I used it in the very first grand trial, and I think I got it before the first trial. I was reasonably attached to this Primarina, and the fact that I lost it just because my attack barely didn't OHKO, just, God, I hate Nuzlockes. Also,
the thing is, right? Don't you know this is coming? Like, don't you know this move is coming? I guess you were just like, okay, I'll one-shot it so I can't. But I feel like you can also just, if you know about these Z moves being so terrifying, can't you just play around it and just switch to like your Decadui or your Talonflame? But we went over this last time, right? It's just like a different approach. Like, oh, the way I approach this stuff is like, okay, what could I have done better to prevent the situation from happening, right? Rather than trying to blame like hacks as much as possible.
Which one-shot Primarina and killed it.
Like, just how to use up the Z move on Talonflame, right? And you're fine. I don't know.
Without a water type, I brought in Decidueye as she healed Mudsdale. Unfortunately, Decidueye did far less damage to Mudsdale thanks to its natural.
Yeah, now it's getting stamina boosts. This is actually a tough spot. I guess not having a special move on Decadui kind of sucks. Yeah, I guess just risking the Primarina dying here was a really, really rough play. Yeah, I think you just needed to play this more safely.
Really high defense and the stamina boosts. The next hit was a crit though, which was
Nice.
able to finish it off.
High crit rate.
In came Flygon, and I brought in Valursi, since it has
Ice Punch. I feel like you can... No, right? He's not dead to Earthquake. There's no way. Does this have a fire move?
Ice Punch. I had to heal though, which allowed Flygon to get off an Earth Power.
Oh, it's got Earth
which
Power.
did just a bit less than half, meaning a better damage roll or crit would kill Valursi.
What's the best play here? The thing is, if you keep healing, you're risking Spadef drop, right? I mean, criticals are like not even 1 in 16 anymore in this gen, right? And I think the damage roll is pretty favorable. This would have to be like min roll into max roll almost exactly for the next Earth Power to kill. I think you can just go for the Ice Punch. I think you just don't really play around the crit there.
I risked it though, and
Yeah.
Valursi clutch survived
Correct
the
play.
Earth Power, firing back with Ice Punch.
Nice.
Finally was Gastrodon, which was easy for Decidueye to beat. Once in Vast Pony Canyon, I was finally able to evolve Magneton into Magnezone. After battling through the rest of the canyon with no issues, I took
Can you get an Eviolite in this game? Eviolite Magneton seems really good too. Magnezone is probably still better though.
on the Kamo-O trial. I tried to OHKO it with Twinkle Tackle, but it protected itself, making the Fairy Z move, and the only Z move I had, do less than half. In came the Scizor, but I kept Comfey in to Dazzling
Super
Gleam and finish
spooky.
off the Kamo-O.
Oh, never mind. It's just gonna kill. Okay. I remember, I think in the Ultra Sun and Moon run, we did this with Fear Eradicate, right? With like Focus Sash, Endeavor Quick Attack or whatever. I'm pretty sure is how we killed this. It was good memes.
Comfey tanked a Metal Claw, which I was surprised by, but then later realized was possible because the Scizor was almost 20 levels lower than Comfey.
Makes sense.
All I then had to do was switch it out for Talonflame to finish off the Scizor, taking down the final Totem Pokemon. After some story stuff, it was time to finally battle Demon Jellyfish Lusamine.
I love her in this battle. I think this is so cool.
Her Clefable proved extremely difficult to KO thanks to its aura, cosmic power, and repeatedly healing with Moonlight. I then OHKO'd her Lilligant with Talonflame and her Mismagius with Crocodile. And then after a few recovers, I was able to take down her Milotic with a crit OHKO Leaf Blade from Decidueye. Lusamine was done. Then at Mount Lanakila, I defeated Gladion with a couple close calls, but nothing too severe. Then after climbing Mount Lanakila, I had my final battle with Hau. First, Decidueye OHKO'd Raichu.
Nice.
In came Hau's Decidueye, and I brought in Valursi to use the Ice Z move on Decidueye. Now
Well
you may
played.
be wondering why I brought in Valursi against the Decidueye instead of one of my other team members that had stab super effective damage, like Talonflame or Crocodile.
I mean, Crocodile just kind of gets killed by a grass move, right?
Well, Talonflame I was scared to use because Decidueye had Smackdown. So if I
Fair.
didn't OHKO it,
Fair.
Talonflame was dead.
Fair.
Then Crocodile is weak to grass.
Fair.
So if I didn't OHKO it, Crocodile was dead.
Crocodile would have definitely OHKO'd it, but good play. Very nice. He's learning. That was like actually a good decision.
Valursi had super effective damage with Ice Punch and, like, wasn't weak to any of Decidueye's moves.
Yeah,
it was
great
actually
play.
immune to the ghost moves.
Yeah.
Valursi fires off the Sub-Zero
Super good.
Slammer, and it leaves Decidueye with what has to have been literally 1 HP.
There's no way he KOs you back though, right? He like actually planned for this too. Like he planned before the fight and equipped the Z Crystal to Beware. That's like really cool. I respect it. Let's see. There's no way he can lose this here, right? To like a crit Leaf Blade or whatever. I feel like, oh, I guess it's going to use like the Grass Z move. Does he really die to that? Beware is so bulky.
Look how little red.
Oh no, but it's an Overgrow, right? Oh no, yeah. Decidueye is an Overgrow now.
Why am I so mad about this?
Because it's about to kill you with, because it's an Overgrow, which boosts its grass type moves when it's low on HP.
Because how's Decidueye immediately fired back with its own Z move, Bloom Doom.
Yep.
If this kills, I'm going to be livid.
That kills for sure, right? Because he's an Overgrow. Yep, he mad. He mad. Seriously though, I don't understand why he doesn't just bait out the Z move. Shouldn't they like almost all, like he knows that this should Z move him, right? Like I don't understand. Literally, what else is this gonna do but Z move Bloom Doom you? Just switch to Talonflame, tank it, switch back to Beware on the SmackDown, and annihilate this. I guess the positive side of things is that finally he can stop saying Valursi for the rest of the video.
Not only had I lost a beloved team member, Valursi, but also losing a Pokemon in the last battle right before the league is like the worst time to lose one. But at this point in time, I feel an obligation to replace it.
Yeah,
Some
as you
extra
should.
context is that this is happening my senior year of college.
Oh my god, this bit again? I'm sorry. Listen, he seems like a person who's very in touch with their emotions, and I respect that because he seems to be more so than me. And being able to carry those emotions outwards and communicate those to people in your audience, especially as a guy, that takes a lot of strength. And I really respect that. It's a little over dramatic is what I would call it, but I still respect it.
I now have to spend a heck of a lot more time grinding something up while I'm already stressed and swamped with schoolwork.
Oh, okay, this makes a little bit more sense, right? I guess like it's different for me because I mostly stream, so I just stream when I grind, so I like put in the time that I put into stream regardless, right? But for this, you're expected to like upload new episodes, right? I guess that's where my disconnect was there, right? Like if I have to do like another 2 hours of grinding, I can just stream that and talk to chat. But he is expected to cut that out of his videos, so it's not actually time that he gets to use. Okay, I understand that actually. Skarmory is not a bad pick here. He has a fairly defensive team. Again, I mean, like, if he wants an easy out, he could just raise his Magikarp and sweep with Dragon Dance Gyarados. It'll just take a while to raise, right? But I feel like he'll sweep most of the battles with that. Starmie is also incredible there. Cosmic Power, Recover, huge special move pool. Starmie is great here.
Also, my team was not over-leveled for the league because my viewers wanted more excitement.
Like, that's one of those points where I would be like, all right, I'm stressing out over college. All right, I don't have time to stress out over this. I'm just going to overlevel. Screw you guys. However, the thing is, he runs it differently, right? Because he's not going to reset and do another run if he loses. So I guess one of the things to consider actually is, why not just lose? Why not just go in underprepared and just try to give your viewers a show and try to go in as the underdog? And then if you lose, you lose. It's okay. It's not that big of a deal. It's not like you have to go do everything again. Comfey is pretty good. It's not a bad Pokemon at all. I haven't used it that much, but the times that I've used it, it seemed pretty broken. It's got like a really good move pool for like utility moves and shit, right?
I sent out Magnezone. My plan was to bait him into using the fighting type Z move.
He's using a pivot strategy. He's a god. What? He's so good at this.
Then switch to Decidueye.
Yes.
Instead, he just went for close combat.
Okay, fair. Probably because he saw the kill with close combat, right? And felt that maybe the AI decides he just goes for close combat instead of the Z move to not go for the overkill. That's probably why that happened. Still, fantastic play. Super good.
More time, expecting another close combat to drop its defenses even further, but then this ugly, stupid beast from hell.
What the hell is the AI in this game? Why does he go for the Z move there?
Finally decided to use its Z move, which knocked out Skarmory in one hit. A couple full restores and acrobatics later, I finally took down the cursed Crabominable.
Nice.
Decidueye hit Poliwrath, then tanked a hit, and then on the second turn, instead of KOing, I healed up Comfey. Poliwrath's next
Good
waterfall,
play.
of course, was a critical hit.
Good play. That's why items are broken. Being able to heal Pokemon in the back that aren't currently out while one of your Pokemon tanks moves and just healing your entire team back up is super, super strong. You should always be doing it if you're using items in your Nuzlockes. What I don't understand is the expectation. Like you're making these Nuzlocks so people go and watch your channel, right? That's what you admitted, right? Maybe you don't enjoy them yourselves, but you're doing them and put on a show for your viewers because then it gives you views, right? So why would you expect all the fights just to be easy peasy, a breeze through, rather than have them be entertaining back and forth fights? Like that's, I guess, the disconnect here that I don't really understand.
The Olivia battle. Relicanth was easily taken down by Decidueye. Crocodile O-code her Lycanroc with its own Z move before she could use hers, something I realized I should have done for the Holo battle. In came Carbink, which Magnezone O-code.
Nice.
Crocodile broke Probopass's Sturdy with Crunch, dropping its defense, then finished it with Earthquake.
Good.
Finally, Decidueye took down Golem with a few moves. It was nice to have an easy battle after that nightmarish Hala battle. Next was the Acerola battle. First, Comfey O-code Sableye, then Magnezone O-code Frostlass, Decidueye O-code Delmise with the Ghost Z move. Finally, Crocodile took out Drifblim without any issues.
Nice.
Next was the battle with Kahili, who led with her own Tin Chicken. It took a few hits to KO due to Sturdy and healing.
Yeah, I feel like Magnezone sweeps here, right?
But Magnezone took it out without taking damage. Mandibuzz took a while to KO due to healing, its bulk, and the fact I was using Crocodile's Rock Slide and Thunderfang, which didn't have stab, but I was able to take it out, getting the Moxie boost. Crocodile then O-code Toucannon with the Rock Z move, getting another Moxie boost.
Nice.
After some healing and air slash damage, Crocodile took out Oricorio.
He planned this shit through. He's playing so
swapped it
well.
out for Magnezone up against Crobat, and won with one
Easy.
discharge.
Yeah, his team was pretty weak against Hala, but the rest of the team is like really, really good against the rest of the Elite Four. He's doing well here.
Weird that the Hala battle was so difficult, but the other 3 Elite Four members were really easy to defeat, huh? It's weird, right? You know?
Wait, what's the joke?
It's almost as if I turned the experience share back on after the Hala battle because
That was not why you won, my dude. What?
I was incredibly frustrated and spiteful and no longer cared whether the battles were excited and just
What?
wanted to be over-leveled. But I
That has nothing to do with it. What do you mean? No, you just have better type advantages in the other fights. You just didn't have a very good team against a fighting type team with good coverage. You gained like maximum like half a level on each Pokemon from turning on that XP share. What are you talking about? And like 2 EVs. What?
Finally was the Kukui battle. Crocodile O-code Lycanroc with ease. Magneton O-code Alolan Ninetales. Then
Dude, Magnezone is so good. If you take anything away from this video, as a new Nuzlocker who's trying to learn, Magnezone and Magneton are ridiculously strong in Nuzlocks, okay? That's what I want you to take away from this. Use that shit, okay? And if you're playing Gen 7, plan around the opponent's Z moves like he tried to do in the Holo fight.
came the dreaded Snorlax, a Pokemon I was deeply terrified of.
That is a terrifying Pokemon. What is his answer to this Snorlax? What can he do? I feel like Decadewey does well against it, right? I don't know if it has Crunch, actually. I mean, having a Moxie boosted Crocodile out of this spot would be really nice, but that's kind of hard to set up. The thing is, you're in the champion battle, right? You can like start sacking here as well. Like you can start playing super aggressively.
Brought in Talonflame, actually planning to sacrifice it and do damage before it went down. After it survived 2 body slams though, I realized I might be able to beat it without it dying. I swapped in Decidueye to absorb a body slam, then used Bloom Doom to make sure I finished the Snorlax off.
Nice.
Next was Braviary, which Magnezone O-code with Discharge.
Easy.
Then came Primarina, but Discharge only did about half. That allowed
Is this another one of those things where you like brought Discharge and Thunderbolt? Well, I mean, like if you know that Discharge does like half there, then Discharge is the better move because of the higher paralysis chance. Not really important. It's gonna Water Z move here. Even if Magnezone goes down here, it doesn't really matter because you just revenge kill with Decadui, right?
allowed it to use Hydro Vortex, which O-code and killed Magnezone.
That's okay.
I lost 2 members of one evolutionary line in the same Nuzlocke. Decidueye came back in and finished off the Primarina. Finally was Kukui's own Magnezone. Crocodile broke the Sterny, then ended it with Earthquake.
Wonderful.
I had won the Pokemon Moon Wonderlocke.
There were some good plays in there, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like he improved a lot from his first Platinum Nuzlocke. Although I guess the weakest part is still the mental game. But I mean that comes with just not enjoying this shit. I think is like the main connection there. Otherwise, I feel like he played pretty well. He had some good encounters, especially for some of the harder trials. Like I feel like a lot of the early trials in this game are really hard, and then later on it gets easier. The Hollow Fight is definitely hard, and he did pretty well against it.
As for my overall thoughts on this playthrough, I wish I had not done it. The series just ended with leaving a really bad taste in my mouth. I mean, just look how my face looked after winning. I know a lot of people like intense Nuzlockes, but I can't deal with them very well.
That's okay.
Back then, I thought I had to do them to get views,
Yeah.
but now I'm at a point where I don't feel like I have to do that. So I just relive my pain in small doses in videos like these. Thanks so much for watching, and
Listen, I just want to make it clear, it's completely fine if you're just a different kind of gamer. You just enjoy chilling, not really having to think about it. There's nothing wrong with that, right? If you just don't enjoy like the intense gameplay. I live for that. I love that. That's one of my greatest, like, unironically, it sounds really cringy, but that's one of my greatest pleasures in life is some good gaming, okay? But it's totally okay if you don't. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, chill out, okay? He's just a different kind. He's just built differently. That's fine. If you have a lot of hours and a lot of experience in something, there's a lot of things you take for granted that you don't think about when you're explaining concepts to people. So going over these is like a really nice thing. Also, doing reaction videos helps out my channel a lot. You know what else helps out my channel a lot? If you leave a comment and a like and subscribe. You think you're subscribed, but you're actually not. YouTube outro. Goodbye. End card. See ya.